Welcome everybody, I'm Jeff Barton and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we're on each and every week, and I appreciate you all tuning in. We talk about real estate investing, we talk about how to invest, the problems that come up as a result of either development or redevelopment, or trying to fix up a house, or just trying to inspect a house that you want to purchase. We also have some other great guests on the show. Occasionally we bring in some unusual opportunities. Today we're going to bring in Gary Stratton, and he's going to talk to us about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin being the Kleenex of the group, meaning that's the name brand. And the reason we're bringing that up is because in that way that we're buying and selling real estate, cryptocurrency has come up as a way to be able to do that. So I wanted to talk to Gary about that. Prior to doing any of that, I just want to talk to you about election season. Election season is coming up here in the Valley, in many cities in surrounding Las Vegas and the Valley. The issue about elections. Do you even know who your elected officials are and how they impact your decisions on real estate each and every day? You know about the real estate taxes that they're imposing upon buying and selling in real estate, whether it be on the contract tax, recording taxes? Do you know about your own particular tax in your city? Do you know if you want to incorporate and become a business, all the things that you need to do in order to do that? All of these things impact how you're going to buy and sell real estate. Why? Because you may want to do it in an LLC, you may want to do it in a corporation, you may want to do it as a sole proprietor. All of these things are important, but your elected officials are the ones that are going to decide how you're going to do it and how much you're going to pay. So we're going to go through a little bit of that on the show today, talk about who the elected officials are, what your say of it is in terms of trying to understand who they are. By the way, we have been trying to get Susie Lee on this program for months. She will not return our phone calls. She will not get on the email, although I do get plenty of emails from her about donating money to her campaign. And that is true with most of the politicians in the neighborhood. They're not bad people, they're good people. I just want them on the show to explain a little bit about how they're going to deal with the real estate and investing decisions here in the Valley, especially when we're on an up. Anyway, I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll be right back.
Are you experiencing hair loss? We have the solution with no drugs, no surgery, and no side effects. Experience 100% pain-free results with Super Grow Laser Cap System, featuring 272 professional-grade lasers that make your hair thicker and fuller naturally. Use it 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and notice your hair growth in as little as 3 months. Visit online at irevivelaser.com to order your Super Grow Laser Cap today and experience unbelievable results. irevivelaser.com.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification and an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Want to know how to create more business and save money? Simple. The answer is video. Video shares are the fastest growing form of word-of-mouth advertising, and according to InternetRetailer.com, visitors who viewed a business video were 85% more likely to buy after watching it. People today are on the go. They don't have time to read text, but they have 1 minute to watch video. At HD Video King, we not only create quality video that's right for you, we coach you on how to get the most from it. Call today. Our award-winning staff are ready to assist.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in. We're on each and every week, and we try to bring some informative opinions and information to you. Real estate is a big deal out here. It's one of the ways that people get rich. And some of the things that attract people to Las Vegas is exactly that. If you want to make money and you want to do it in a way by which you can really strike it rich and do it quickly, you can do it here in Las Vegas. And one of the main ways that people do it, surprisingly or not, is real estate, buying and selling real estate. Another one of the tremendous opportunities that has come about in the economy, both locally as well as nationally, is cryptocurrency. Now, we've talked about that on the show and how it relates to buying and selling real estate, whether you can use it. I know that I've read in articles in the past that yes, people are doing that. The question is, how do they do it? But before we get to that, I wanted to bring on our next guest to the show, one of the guys that I'm going to go to for information not only about cryptocurrency, but how to use it and how it works, is Gary Stratton. And Gary, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you very much. Okay, so describe it to me. What is cryptocurrency and how does it work?
Best way to think of it, it's kind of like a serial number. That sometimes they call it a math calculation. That's what the computers are doing, is solving problems, and that creates a unique, I'll just call it a serial number for simplicity,
okay,
for that particular coin.
Okay.
In the case of Bitcoin, they've fractionalized it to 8 decimal places.
I see.
Because they only allowed only defined 21 million. So that's not enough to do a large volume transaction. So essentially that helped cause it to inflate, and they needed to fractionalize it as it went up in value. So when it started off, people could buy it for pennies.
Well, explain it to me. Okay, so this is a math calculation based on a computer algorithm, some kind of a computer program?
They basically call it the blockchain. So
okay,
it's basically a technique for creating a unique identification for that particular coin.
I mean, that particular calculation, which you're calling a coin, is that the same thing?
Bitcoin, yeah. So essentially, that is the calculation, and that's part of what the miners do. They verify the transactions. So every time it passes from one person to the other, it creates another attachment to the block, and it just keeps going.
I see.
Kind of like, it's also why the blockchain technique may be used in real estate from the standpoint of deeds.
Right.
So someone could create a system where they use that software technique to record and keep track of who owned a piece of property from its inception through whenever.
Well, this is why the title business is a money machine.
Yeah.
Because there is no issue with title in the United States anymore. There's no dispute about who owns what. Because of this technology, and it keeps advancing, everybody knows where the property was bought and sold for the past 200-300 years. So that's a similar situation.
Yeah, so it's just keeping track of the record, but the technique could be applied to title and essentially have a software definition of the chain with all the details in it of who owned the property from when it was first parceled out
Right.
and made a piece of property and moving forward. So that is a possibility for the real estate of using that blockchain technology, and it's been discussed.
Okay, so why do these things have value? There's a lot of them. And why does one have value more than another?
Well, value is based on people using it. So the Bitcoin early on, it was defined as a scam and this isn't going to go anywhere or what may have you. Right now it's probably in the doldrums a little bit from the fact that in December it rolled up. I left to go to a real estate event and it was like 17,000 setting new records.
Right.
And it kept going up, and a few days later then it started coming down. So it went up in value way fast. Anything, doesn't stocks, anything goes up value way fast is going to have a correction. It's just the way it is. And Bitcoin's been through it before. Early on, Bitcoin rolled up to like 1,100, and then it corrected back down and dipped below 300.
When was this? What year are you talking about? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Well, no. I guess it was the late 90s, somewhere in there. It rolled up, I think, into the 1,100, and then crashed back down. This is basically just a similar situation. I think people are going to perceive it as it has value long term. Now, the word currency, I think it's too volatile for Bitcoin to ever be a currency. because you need to watch it every hour almost.
Right.
A merchant is not going to be able to take it. In fact, one of the techniques I use with the cryptocurrency is trading, being a trader. So I bought into a company that does the trading mechanism.
Right.
So I basically earn a little bit every day, and then that compounds. So when I initially bought my Bitcoin, because I'd done it on a different cryptocurrency, and I said, okay, now it's time for me to expand to other things. So last year when I bought my Bitcoin, it was like $2,400, and I said, okay, Bitcoin's not going to go up too much more. You know, well, okay, maybe it doubles or triples. That's the most. That's not what I'm looking at this point. I just want to diversify, educate myself in the use of Bitcoin, and have Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is basically the most
well known, right?
noted,
I mean, it's like the brand name, right?
So unfortunately for me, I got in just the right time because it started accelerating. But I was just looking at, if I trade the coin, then I can increase the amount of coin I have, and that'll be my gain. Well, fortunately, I also had the acceleration of the price rolling up into.
Oh, it was almost $20,000, I believe.
Yeah, it was under 19. Yeah, I get very close to 20, and then it started coming down.
Now it's in around 9, 10,000 in that
Yeah,
range?
basically it's bouncing between 9 and 10 mostly. So I'm saying at this point, Bitcoin's probably establishing itself around $10,000. So how long is it going to take? Another year? Who knows? But somewhere it's going to experience again, and it's probably going to do like it did in the past when it was sitting down at a few $100s. It's going to accelerate up. But I believe it as an investment, not as a currency, because of its volatility. It doesn't have the mechanism in it to keep it stable.
Right, and the investment would be just basically for people who want it. They buy and sell it, and that's the market. That's it.
Yeah, because there's defined now, 21 million is the max.
Right.
That's it. So that in itself, and there's only like, was it like four more million to go, kind of thing, before they maxed out. What
is that number of buyers into the Bitcoin?
No, that's the amount of coin. So 21 million coins.
See.
So what I'm not sure what's going to happen is what happens when they max at 21. So many months ago they did a fork, and they have Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
So it's another different flavor, but it's not the Bitcoin. So you get the original Bitcoin, and now you got a Bitcoin Cash that sells for a lot less. So, but the Bitcoin itself, what's going to happen when it maxes out at 21 million? So part of the incentive for the miners in doing the transaction verification is they get to earn more Bitcoin.
I see.
When that's gone and they've maxed out at 21 million, what's going to happen? How are those miners going to be paid? So that's my concern, is what mechanism is going to continue on that? There's got to be something added in for the justification for the miners to do the ongoing verification of the transaction from one person to the other. So that is going to be the tricky part. What's going to happen? They're probably going to have to start charging fees to the people doing the transaction, just like buying and selling a house.
You mean to verify the transaction, the fees will be charged in order to maintain the database.
Right, because they got to have these computers chewing up a lot of power
Yep.
to do all this verification process.
Why does it take a lot of power? Explain that to me, because as I showed you in the article,
computers consume energy, and it takes a long time to do some of the calculations. It's got hours and hours sometimes in order to get through it, and they have to do it. When Bitcoin started off, you could do it on your home computer.
Right.
Now it takes a room full of servers to have the computer power to do it, to get through it.
Now, is that just for Bitcoin, or is that all the cryptocurrencies? Because apparently there are a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. That process is valid pretty much for all of them.
I see.
But the variation is some of them are much faster. Some of them have a faster verification to create it. So essentially the biggest money can be made in the ones that aren't really public yet, because they offer a lot of incentives.
Right.
They're very cheap, and you can get multiples on it. The one that I did, to give you an example, on my own, I bought into it. That I made about 139 times my money.
Wow.
Then I got into a group, and what we did is we pooled our money. So it's kind of like a bunch of people going in to buy an apartment complex.
It's like an investment group. Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
None of the individuals could buy the complex by themselves, but as a group you can go in and take advantage of the leverage from having the bigger facility. So similar, we did it with an agreement. We had, it's done in an LLC entity. I always never
as an individual, right?
Never as an individual or partnership. It's got to be an entity.
Right.
Just to say protect yourself. Always an LLC or C Corp or something.
Listen,
that's always the best.
We are right at the end of our time. I want to have you back. This is fascinating stuff for me because it's a new emerging area. And I think the audience probably love hearing more about it. Thanks, Gary, for coming on the show.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Want to know how to create more business and save money? Simple. The answer is video. Video shares are the fastest growing form of word-of-mouth advertising, and according to internetretailer.com, visitors who viewed a business video were 85% more likely to buy after watching it. People today are on the go. They don't have time to read text, but they have 1 minute to watch video. At HD Video King, we not only create quality video that's right for you, we coach you on how to get the most from it. Call today. Our award-winning staff are ready to assist.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification and an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At ruthlesscowboys.com, you can shop for shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to ruthlesscowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. ruthlesscowboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and thank you very much for staying tuned and keeping tuned to the show. We bring, as you know, great guests to the show as well as some terrific information. It's going to help you decide what you want to do this year, right now, with buying and selling real estate here in the Valley. A lot of opportunities. Employment is up, obviously. Housing prices are up, but I think they're going to be, is this right? They're going to be leveling off, Rebecca?
The pricing actually should start going up because once people start buying again and there's still a lack of inventory, and the affordability in the Valley actually isn't where it should be. The only thing that's going to probably influence that is the interest rates as they go up. The affordability is going to probably taper off, which is basically the way the federal government should work, which is where it failed us in the past. So it makes sense, so people can't just make up their own prices.
Okay, very good. Let's introduce our panel. That was Rebecca Fitzgerald, one of our terrific real estate agents, and sitting next to her is Terrell Big Tex Robinson from WealthWave, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
And thank you. And Charles Giscombe. Is it Giscombe or Giscombe?
However you like to pronounce it.
Either way, I like them both. Anyway, he's our resident expert in the mortgage industry, and I appreciate everybody for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having us.
We've got a very busy time this time of year. We're obviously coming into the spring season. A lot of people moving to Vegas this time of year. Schools getting out. There's a lot of issues. Oh, and by the way, the tax issue here in town about schools. We have a couple of candidates, and I don't know if you've seen some of the printouts about what I've sent you about the local candidates. Some of them are proposing certain taxes. Some of them are obviously backing off that, and we deal with the city versus rural in terms of taxes versus non-taxes. Where do we come out in terms of schools, the elections, and candidates that are about ready to, launch into the spring candidacy season for the election in the fall?
The biggest thing is we got to get to the root of the problem, and what I mean by that is, why is Nevada ranked last? Now I know there was $300-400 million that they were talking about,
Yeah.
but no one has discovered the root of the problem, or why are we being ranked last? Is it because, I mean, my assumption is, and from what I've seen being here 15 years, I do see a lot of kids, they do go off and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a valet parker, or I ain't going to say a dancer or a waitress or whatever the case may be, and not take on the student loans. But we got to get to the root of the problem. Why are we still ranked last?
Well, I mean, what kind of goes to like what he's saying is this is at one point was ranked the number one place to make over $100,000 without a college education.
Correct.
So that being said, well, this sounds inappropriate, but it does mean that there is a lot of people that do live here that do work in the service industry.
Correct.
That they are dancers, there are valet people, and they're not home with their kids. So they're letting the kids are just doing whatever they want to do, and a lot of them maybe they don't go to school, but they just do whatever they feel like doing, and it is a city where you kind of can get away with that.
Right.
So that might be part of the reason that we have an education system that's kind of screwed up, is just because of the economy of the city and how it's set up and the type of people that are here.
Well, where is it screwed up? Is it screwed up K through 12? Is it screwed up in pre-K? Is it post high school?
As far as I know, when I look up the schooling and different things on listings and houses, it's every school.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's elementary school, which again would just be parents possibly not being able to be home and after spend the time with them to help them with their reading, to help them with their math. That just continues to become a problem. I did volunteer work for kids that couldn't read that well, and you would catch them up to speed, and it was always parents that weren't around.
And I speak to I still speak to third and fourth graders, and again, issues of reading. The only school that I know that's really thriving is Gorman.
Of course.
There are a lot of the kids are graduating, going off to nice colleges or getting scholarships. That's the only school I really
Football
know.
factory.
And
Yeah,
also-
I mean, really, it's got the name for sports.
Athletics in
a
general.
lot.
Yeah.
Athletics in general.
There's also not a lot of outside programs in Nevada that are funded through private organizations. Like a organization I was involved in California for a long time, they just don't have anything similar to it. There just isn't as many outside organizations that do things for kids here. So that is
Is it a
lacking
language
as well.
issue as well? Is it a cultural issue in that?
Unfortunately, Jeff, there's a true disparity in incomes in Las Vegas. You're either on this side or you're on that side. There's no middle of the road. And I think we're seeing that take effect in every aspect of living and schooling. It's amazing, the disparity between the two. There's really no in between in Las Vegas, Jeff.
To add to that point, the reason I mentioned Gorman is because a lot of those mothers or fathers, are stay-at-home moms because dad makes enough money. So now when son or daughter comes home, they can help with the homework. So it does play a big factor versus most of your parents are out working and then the kid comes home. They're not going to do their homework right away. I know I didn't. I wanted to go right outside and play football or whatever the case may be. So.
Right. Okay. So elections, they're coming up. We have a primary in June and the general election in November. We're going to be electing local, state, federal. The direction of what we're doing here in the city, in the state, in the county, really depends on voter turnout. What's the lack of interest in voter turnout? Now, I did a survey, not from this group, about just finding out who your local representatives were. Who exactly represents you at the local level, at the city council or at the town council, or is it, who's representing you at the state level, at the state legislature, which again only meets 4 months of the year, and who's representing you at the federal government? Nobody knew. Nobody could tell you. Is it because it's a transient population? Nobody really gives a darn about it? Because that's where the resources for education, for security, for all kinds of things get directed. It's from those levels.
Because people aren't taught politics in school. People don't understand how it actually works. All they know is that Trump's president and that that's someone else's fault. So they don't realize that these local and these smaller things are who gets us our president, and what works up to it in our local community is more important. People want to spend their whole entire lives on Facebook, complaining about these things instead of actually getting involved in their local, because it's just like no one's tells you how to do your taxes. No one tells you how to do a lot of things in life, and that's one of them, is no one explains how politics works.
And unfortunately, from a minority standpoint,
Yeah.
what happens with us is sometimes you feel in those situations you don't have a voice, Jeff. You're not being heard.
the kind of things, the opportunities or the resources are not as available for people that may live here to here. It's unfortunate because it's not true. Obviously, like Rebecca said, there's everything out there. But when you've seen for so long no change come in your favor, it's discouraging,
Right.
to say the least. And I think that may be the case with population. Not saying that they won't.
Actually, Nevada.
Well, hold on. Everyone that knows me, and I don't go too much deep into politics. I do understand a lot of it, but everyone that knows, like he said, I'm 41 years old. I don't vote. I don't, because I see the different things that do happen, but I don't complain about what's going on. So basically, I'm my own government. So meaning that if I can control my own income or living the way I live, because like you said, if I would have voted, it wouldn't have went in my favor anyway.
Okay.
So when people speak about the situation with Trump,
I disagree with you. If you vote, it doesn't go anywhere. We don't live in Russia where we know that Putin's going to get elected again. Like, we actually have options, and Nevada actually is very well diversely represented. We have a lot of women. We have Republicans and we have Democrats. We have minority representation. We have a lot of actually diverse representation that apparently no one's even paying attention to.
Well, that's the issue I'm trying to relate to, is that you have, as we're speaking, whether it's an income disparity, whether it's an education disparity, whether it's based on your ethnic or your cultural background, you are either in or you're out.
What you just said is a D, all of the above. You just said it. You said many things that unfortunately and fortunately, this beautiful thing about Las Vegas, this is what Las Vegas is. You have a lot of it. There's people that are rolling. You can drive 10 minutes and see a kid get dropped off to school in a Rolls Royce, and then you can drive 10 minutes, Jeff, and you'll see some terrible
You don't even
stuff.
have to go 10 minutes. You can go around the corner.
Right.
I did this morning, watching kids get on a bus, and the only thing I can say about that is at least everybody stopped and didn't run the kids over. But you're watching kids, you're watching them get on a bus, mixed neighborhood. The idea of where they go to school, what happens at the school, is really what? The parents send them off and then they're gone, and are they home, as you said, to help them with their home? I don't know the process.
Correct.
And what is the reason why we are where we are in the education of the kids? Why?
Because people have kind of quit seeing school as a school, and parents are just kind of like, here, go. Because it's basically someone takes care of the kid while they have to go to work, and they're just so tired because people work all the time. Everyone works. Their parents both work, so people are just tired.
And this is a 24-hour town, so people are working late at night. There's 3 shifts going
You're
all
a
the
dealer.
time, all the hotels.
You're a dealer at a casino. You're a service person. You work in the food industry, whatever it is, all the time. You're always working.
absolutely.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm Jeff Barton, and thanks very much, panel, for being back on the show. Great discussion, and obviously we're looking forward to the election coming up. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll see you next time.